Hey guys, welcome. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I don't know what I did. I want to do a video today on how to respond to your intrusive thoughts, and we're also going to bust some myths about that as well. But before I go on, as always, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. If you want to get in touch with us for our coaching services and help you get started on your OCD recovery journey, you can email us at phil@ocdrecovery.com. There's also a link down below that in the description that you can click, and it'll take you directly to our WhatsApp chat, and you can message us and you can ask us questions about about our coaching services, and we can help you get started. So the reason I want to talk about this topic was this is like I would say one of the top 5 questions that we get on one-to-one calls. Like I think in a week, if I do like how many calls would I do? I don't even count. Maybe 30, 40 one-to-ones, I think. I mean, I'm not good with math and estimate, so I'm assuming it's something like that, right? Um, so I mean, I would say like a lot of the calls have this question in them, which is, hey, so when I'm getting intrusive thoughts, or when I'm feeling really triggered, or when I'm getting mental images, what can I do in that moment? How do I respond to them? Or what do I say to myself? And that's one of the biggest problems with a lot of OCD content out there, because it focuses way too much on, if you get this thought, respond this way to yourself or say this to yourself. And what you're essentially doing is you're handing people a compulsion on a silver platter to do, right? Imagine people coming in on a call and I say to them, hey, so when you get this thought, just remind yourself that this is just a tough moment. You'll get through it and it'll be okay. And it's just a thought and it'll pass. And this is just OCD trying to bother you, right? Let's say I say that. People are literally going to run with it, and they're going to almost revise it and like rote learn it almost as a script and memorize it. And they're going to start saying it to themselves as soon as they start feeling triggered, or when the intrusive thoughts go really high up. And that is exactly the problem with that kind of approach, because it's, yes, the initial understanding with it's just a thought, it'll pass, and how the OCD cycle operates. Yes, I mean, it's important to get that understanding just in the initial stages of your recovery journey, but that is not the long-term approach, and that is not the way to get better at all. In fact, if you're doing that too much, then ultimately you're doing a compulsive thing with yourself. You're ultimately fueling the cycle, because what you're trying to do is you're using some statements, you're using sentences, phrases, words, reminders, whatever it is. You're doing that to subdue anxiety as soon as it shoots up, right? And initially, even it might even make you feel a little bit better, but long term, actually, what's going to happen is there's going to be a day, inevitably, there's going to be a day when that will stop working, and that's when it'll start freaking you out. And you're going to start thinking, this is not working anymore. My thoughts are still there. I'm trying to remind myself of this, but I'm still feeling like shit. So it must be real. Then, I mean, this must be real. It's not working. This is my brain or my body trying to tell me more about myself. This is my gut trying to signal something to me. And which is why, like, so many people come in and they are, unfortunately, they've had, like, they've been through different like treatments or processes before, and it has not worked for them. So they come in feeling already a little hopeless. And they're like, I don't know, like, I've been trying to do this, I've been doing this for a long time, it's not working, I'm still stuck. No wonder you're stuck, because you're trying to compulsively say statements and mantras to yourself and reassure yourself, essentially. Like, if you're doing that, hey, this is what I'm supposed to say to myself when I'm feeling triggered, that's just you giving yourself another drug. So what is overlooked again in all of this is looking at beliefs and looking at your perspectives, because if you do not tackle your beliefs and your fears around your worst case scenario, your thoughts are going to keep popping up, and your only strategy then throughout for years will just be trying to subdue them, trying to neutralize them, trying to say something to make them go away, trying to just like distract yourself so that you don't have to think about them, watching a funny video that helps you like take your mind off of it, going to the gym immediately, or like trying to do some push-ups or some exercise so that you don't have to think about those thoughts. Like, Or like unfortunately for a lot of men especially, they get addicted to adult videos because that's one thing that they feel like gets their mind off of it. We work with people who unfortunately are so like, I mean, because they're trying to just desperately get their mind off of it, they start to also like watch adult videos even while they're at work, because it's the only thing that makes them feel like they can distract themselves, reset their brain a little bit, and then come back to work, kind of thing, right? So I mean, essentially that's the kind of like stance that you're fueling by giving people specific statements and like written down scripts and reminders of this is what you say to yourself. Scripts is another thing. Scripts is like 100% like a compulsive thing. If you're writing down a script and then you are also recording yourself and then you're playing it back to yourself, and like it's just like, again, it's not like those reminders, those mantras are just going to fuel your anxiety cycle. They're not taking you towards breaking down your worst case scenario and working on accepting that. That is so key to remember. And so, this question of what do I say to myself has to be suspended and discarded, right? Because, and which is why when people ask me that, I don't have an answer for them, because I say that, I mean, I say realistically, think about it. Whatever I say to you as a response to this question, you're going to try and memorize it, note it down, remember those words, and then you're going to repeat that to yourself when you're feeling triggered. That's realistically exactly what will happen. And what I'm then doing is, like, people are already doing mental compulsions, they're ruminating, they're trying to distract themselves, they're trying to, like, just think of good things and, like, push out any kind of bad images and whatnot. I'm then giving them another mental compulsion to do on top of all of that. So I'm just going to make them feel worse. I'm not going to make them feel great at all. So, and that's where you have to really start practicing not trying to do anything to your thoughts, because one of the primary problems with OCD sufferers is that they're trying to fix their thoughts. As soon as an uncomfortable feeling, emotion, sensation, thought comes up, they want to fix it, they want to get rid of it, they want to resolve it, they want to somehow eliminate it and completely discard it. You don't need to do any of that. Again, doing that is fueling that flawed principle of, as long as I'm feeling some kind of negative way, there's something that needs to be fixed. There's something that needs urgent attention, and there's something I need to urgently resolve. That was my primary problem as well. That's the because if you go on, like, read like anxiety advice online, you're going to see that a lot of it is based on how to kind of like fix it or resolve it or like make it go away, right? How to subdue it as soon as you start feeling quite anxious, right? And that's what I also thought. I was like, hey, as long as I'm feeling anxious or any kind of negative emotion or something, that means something needs urgent attention and something needs to be fixed. There's something wrong. There's something I have to take some kind of action, because if I don't take some kind of action, it's going to fester, it's going to grow, and it's going to somehow eat me up on the inside in a very sinister, hidden kind of way that I won't even notice it. And one day I'll wake up and everything will be just like bad. I was operating from that principle. What did it do? It fueled and absolutely like installed this mental compulsion in me, where I was checking. Am I having a thought? Am I anxious? Am I angry? Am I sad? Am I feeling some kind of depressed way? Am I feeling hurt or miserable? Where is it coming from? Why am I feeling that way? How can I solve it? Do I need to talk about it with someone? Do I need to confess? Do I need to, or maybe just like, I don't know, do something fun to take my mind off things? Does this need like further analysis? I mean, I can't imagine living like that now, because I mean, well, I lived like that for many years, but and I can definitely see where it came from, because again, I was in constant fix mode. Like, I didn't need to fix anything. I didn't need to fix any of my like thoughts, emotions that came up. I had to work on accepting their presence, and I had to work on accepting that they might linger, right? The video that I just did right before this one talked about fear of your negative emotions and your thoughts, intrusive thoughts, sensations, interfering and intruding on your life and interrupting your life goals, right? That's how I felt about it. I thought if I don't like jump into action mode, or into like some kind of fight mode, my life goals and my happiness will be interrupted, and that will be like super bad. So that is exactly what I really had to start letting go of and accepting that these things are going to be there. They might not go away, but I can accept that they might not go away, and I can accept that they will be present. I don't need to restore some kind of perfect state of peace of mind and perfect state of happiness. I don't need to do that. So when your intrusive thoughts are popping up, when your intrusive images or triggers are popping up, you don't need to jump into any kind of fixing mode. You don't need to have some sentence to say to yourself to subdue your thoughts. The best thing that you can do in that moment is do nothing. And I know how crazy that sounds, but do nothing. Try not doing anything. Just get on with your day. If it's happening at night, just lay in bed and let your thoughts play out as best as you can, because there's not anything you can do in that moment, anything non-compulsive that you can do in that moment to be like, okay, let me just completely trash this threat. That's the other thing. Your perspective over discomfort itself is fueling this entire cycle. You viewing mental, emotional, physical discomfort as this absolutist threat to your peace of mind and happiness is exactly what is fueling your inner disturbance and your anxiety. That is exactly what is keeping OCD in this very tight loop and not letting you go, right? Our perspective over discomfort itself also has to change, because discomfort is not inherently any kind of threat. It's only a threat if you think it's a threat. Discomfort is all sorts of discomforts are an inherent part of living. And if scientifically speaking, if discomfort was a threat, an absolutist kind of threat to our mental peace and happiness, every human being right now would be in absolute misery, 100%. Because there is no human being on planet Earth, even the richest, the most good looking, like the most successful person on Earth, also is not free of discomfort on all levels. So, if it was that kind of thing, if it was this poisonous kind of sinister kind of force, literally everyone would be miserable right now. Everyone would be super unhappy, and everyone would be panicking and spiraling, and no one would be at peace. The only difference between you and a regular person living their life, well, aside from the fact that there's a genetic component that like influences you having OCD, aside from that, is that their perspective of discomfort, inconvenience, negative emotions, and thoughts is not a catastrophic thing. They're not defining their life or their existence by that one thought and feeling, and they're not using it to completely, like, they're not using a good thing to completely validate themselves, and they're not using a bad thing to completely discard themselves. That's what conditional acceptance does, and that's where the black and white thinking and rigid beliefs with OCD come into play. That's what you are doing. That I'm having these thoughts, therefore, horrible person, completely unworthy, hate myself, not worthy of love, don't deserve anything good, I am nothing. That is jumping from 0 to a complete 100. Does not, yeah, not a great way to think, of course not. So that's why, like, like all of this connects with each other. All of these things like feed each other, which is why I started off with like talking about responding to your intrusive thoughts. That is the compulsive thing, trying to come up with like specific responses. And you see how that like fuels all these other little like aspects that neatly tie up, and then they're making you suffer in the background. So I hope this helps you, and I hope like they again, if you are someone who has been trying to respond to their thoughts in a specific way, trying to reassure yourself, saying scripts and mantras and statements to yourself to try to make yourself feel better and still feeling stuck, no wonder you're feeling stuck. So I hope this video helps you. I hope you know that there is a way forward with this. You don't have to stay stuck in that cycle. You don't have to feel hopeless, because like there's a way forward over here. And yeah, and we can also help you with that. Again, at the end of the video, we have contact details. You can get in touch with us. Let us know what you think. Also, we just started a WhatsApp channel as well. I'm also going to link that down below in the description too. We post regular updates on there, important announcements, webinar flyers, articles, videos, and things like that. So if you're interested in keeping up with our content and important announcements, please follow our WhatsApp channel as well. Again, link down below. And yeah, we'll see you there and see you around. Let us know what you think. Bye. Thank you.